So, hello. Week 7 for me. Last lesson that you have to be a guinea pig for mommy ever before I do my student teaching. I mean...
And I'm very proud of you.
I know. I'm almost done. So, Aurora... Well, I know sometimes you don't feel like doing these, so... Anyway, you're in 5th grade?
Okay.
Alright, so... we're going to be talking about stress today, and sorry, these printed funny, I gotta flip them upside down. So, this book is called Stress Can Really Get on Your Nerves. Do you feel like stress is something that happens to you? Okay, so I'm going to read you some questions from this book. And all you have to do is write down yes or no, Y or N, whatever, however you want to do it. This is informal. But it's kind of like a pre-test about stress. Before you read the rest of the book, take this fun test. And don't worry, you automatically get an A just for answering the questions.
Yes.
At night, do you have dreams about getting chased, taking a test where you don't know any answers, or standing in front of a bunch of people without your clothes on? Anything like that?
No, but I have dreams about what was the first one? About getting chased. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it could be something like that. I used to have a dream where I was running from tornadoes. It was really weird.
I think it was 2 nights ago. I had a dream where I was getting chased by a maniac.
Okay. So I talk too much during the lesson because I feel like it's more conversational between you and me, but if I was doing this with a group, I would not want to talk as much. Get more students involved. Number 2, does the thought of going to school ever worry you so much you could almost puke? Yes or no?
No, but...
Just wait, we can go through the answers at the end. Just hold your response. Excuse me. Because this would be like a whole class of kids, so we couldn't all pipe up at the same time. I think... Does your head sometimes feel like it's being squeezed by a boa constrictor? Yes or no? Are you writing your answers down?
No, and the first question was just, have you ever been chased?
No, honey, these are all yes or no questions. Let me explain this better because I feel like maybe I didn't. You're going to write down number 1, yes or no. Number 2, yes or no.
1, yes.
Okay. Number 2, does the thought of going to school ever worry you so much you could almost puke? Yes or no?
No.
Have you gotten anxious about school?
During school, yes.
Okay. So that's kind of the same thing. Does your head sometimes feel like it's being squeezed by a boa constrictor? Yes or no?
No.
Number 4, does your to-do list seem a mile long?
Yes.
Number 5, would a good nickname for you be Grouchy McStress? I can't forget that one.
Yes.
Yes. Do you ever wish for a magic wand to make your stress, poof, disappear? Yes or no?
Of course. Of course.
Number 7, some days do you walk around so tired that you feel like you're on autopilot? Yes or no?
Sometimes I feel like I'm on autopilot. Okay.
Number 8, are you often so tense that your shoulders are up to your ears? Number 9, do you wish aliens would capture you so you could escape from your problems? Yes or no? No. Okay. Are you sometimes as Number 10, I'm sorry. Are you sometimes as jumpy as a rubber ball bouncing off the ceiling? Ew. Do you know what that means? Yeah. Number 11, does the word Does the world ever seem to be spinning so fast that you want to get out for a moment and take a break? Yes or no? Okay. How did you do? If you answered yes to all or most of these questions, you are stressed out, and this book can help. Okay. If you answered yes to some of the questions, you can use this book to deal with stressful days. If you answered no to all the questions, you're as cool as a cucumber, but keep reading to learn how to stay that way. Here's your A. Okay, so this is a chance for you guys to turn and talk with your partners, and tell your sorry. This last, how did it go for you?
I answered mostly yes, except for 4 no's.
Okay, so 7 out of 11.
Yes.
So you get stressed sometimes. I would say I probably answered at least 6 out of 11, but it depends on the time period because there's times where I'm more stressed out. Okay, so our turn and talk. I'm your seat partner when that happens, so. All right. Moving on. What the heck is stress? Stress is what you feel when situations make you uncomfortable, or you're worried about something that has happened, will happen, or might happen. Some examples are, what if I fail? What if I faint? What if I fall apart? What if people laugh? What if I get hurt? What if I make a mistake? What if I do it wrong? What if no one likes me? What if I fall flat on my face? What stresses you out? Can you turn and talk with your seat partner?
Can I go first?
Sure. What's your what if?
What if I get hurt? What if no one likes me? What if I'm ignored? What if I'm not loved?
But I worry about, what if I don't have enough time to do everything? What if I get a migraine because I'm stressed out? And what if I get sick? Because I struggle. So those are probably my what ifs. Thank you, seat partner.
You're welcome, seat partner.
Alright, so moving on. That stress feeling seems to take over your mind and body. Can you relate to that? And causes tension in your muscles.
Yeah.
It's a reaction to things that are new, scary, or different. It's especially common in kids who are shy, have many pressures at home or school, or want to be the best. It's also a source of headaches and stomach aches. And it's something a lot of kids don't recognize until they understand the symptoms. Did you notice what they did with the...
It spells out stress.
Yeah. I like that. Stress can cause you to be so anxious that your body sends you weird and mixed up signals. Believe it or not, you may find yourself sweating in a cold room or shivering on a hot day. You might even feel as if you're crawling out of your own skin. So raise your hand if you can relate to any of those things. Here are words to describe that stress feeling. And I'm going to go around the room and ask everybody to say a word from our list up here. You and I are just going to take turns. All alone.
Uptight.
Moody.
Crabby.
Tired out.
Freaked out.
Jittery.
Queasy.
Anxious.
Nervous.
Goosebumpy.
Burned out.
Panicky.
Jumpy.
Excited.
Weird.
Wired, I think.
Oh, wired.
That's okay. I think weird might work too. Confused.
Pressured.
Tense.
Shaky.
Cranky. I'd better not get the hiccups.
Edgy.
Frustrated.
Fidgety.
Ready to burst.
Trapped.
Restless.
Upset.
Troubled.
Wound up.
Mixed up.
Scared.
Worried.
Overwhelmed.
Okay, so those are some really good descriptive words that we can use when talking about stress or anxiety. Why don't you write down a couple words that make you think of what anxiety or stress would be good ways to describe that feeling? And then you can, a couple describing words, descriptive words like we used. That would be good for describing stress or anxiety situations. So take some time to think, write a few down, and then you can share with your seat partner.
I'm done.
Okay, let's share our words together. Looks like you got a bunch.
Overwhelmed, crazed, worried, imperfect, hungry, lonely, scared, confused, and anxious.
Gosh, there's so many of them that they took that I would use.
Yeah.
Like overwhelmed would be one of my big words if I
saw that.
Yeah, like ADHD, overwhelmed, being overstimulated.
Yeah.
That's kind of an ADHD thing. Yeah, so many of them that they used are good though. Like I did, trapped sometimes if you feel panicky too. That's a good one. Okay. So. What? I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you guys to write in your writing journal. Oh, I'm supposed to share my paragraph about... Okay, so... this winter, I had a lot of things going on. Grandma having back surgery. My friend passing away from COVID. School, work, kids, just, not that it's bad, but, you know, having to take you guys to the things that you need to do, worrying about, like, what we could do because of COVID. Sometimes it's stressful to be trapped at home too much. So, I would have to say that there were a couple weeks, at least, this winter where my stress level was through the roof. And I was trying to manage it as best as I could, but I got sick a couple times in there, and I think that made it worse. Okay, so, I probably wouldn't say that to the class, but I want you, in your writing journal, to write a paragraph about a time recently at home or at school when you reacted to a stressful situation. Use descriptive words like the ones on pages 12 and 13 of the book we just read. I think I messed up. Okay, because my lesson plan was printed wrong. Anyway, I cut off part of the book. Use descriptive words like the ones on pages 12 and 13 of the book we just read. And you guys all have access to that in your Epic account from my class. Or use one of the ones that you came up with, and make sure you include those words in your paragraph. And if we have time, I'll want everyone to share a few things if they would like to. Does that make sense to everyone? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Please ask me if you have any questions. I'm going to be going around the room, so I'll be available to help people as needed. Can you write a paragraph? Does that make you anxious? Yes, don't get anxious about writing this. Just think about a time when you were stressed out.
Paragraph about something that makes us anxious.
Yep, just a time recently.
I've been not very anxious recently, which is good.
Well, you could talk about how being bullied made you feel, or you could talk about what it's been like to be home or do online school, because I know that stresses you out sometimes. Being on virtual classroom. Oh, so we need, I guess, if I had more students, it would probably take them longer. You're fast. But, so we're going to wrap up here, and I would just like to thank everyone for their input and their sharing. If anybody would like to read their paragraph to us, now is a time where you can do that. Aurora?
Every time I had an encounter with Riley, who was my bully, I always ended up being so mad that I could flip over a desk if I could. Riley knew all the ways to get under my skin. One day, Riley took it too far and got one of my friends to act with him and try to make me upset.
Okay, so could you use one, how did you react to that? So flesh out your paragraph by saying how you reacted to that situation and try to use one of our descriptive words. How did that make you feel and how did you react? Any adjustments?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, he got one of my friends to act with him and try to make me upset, and I'm embarrassed to say that I cried.
Okay. How did you feel? Can you use one of our descriptive words for how that made you feel when he would pick on you or bug you at school or try to get under your skin? Because you probably felt something that made you feel like crying, right? Go ahead.
I felt really lonely because my friend had betrayed me, and I felt angry because Riley had got under my skin again.
And then you ended up feeling like crying. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. I mean, sometimes we can feel embarrassed or upset just about the way we feel. So it's good to be able to describe that and think about how we can deal if that situation ever comes up again. So I would have other people share, but since we're just wrapping this up, people who didn't share, you can hand in, or everyone can hand in their writing journals, and I will respond to your paragraph and give you some feedback. Thanks, everyone. Sometimes it's hard to talk about.